Hi everybody, this is André Stephany, our new priest, and we are delighted to welcome him to St. Clement's this September 2nd, but André, you started yesterday officially. And my name is Peggy, I'm one of the deacons here at St. Clement's. So we thought we would just take a few minutes to ask André a few questions so we can start to get to know each other.
Hi everyone.
André, you have a long resume already, and you are not very old in years. Can I say that?
Thank you.
How would you sum up your life to date? You've done so much. Tell us just a little bit about it.
Well, it was a rainy January morning, and yeah, that's right. I've come around a bit. I was always the one who wanted to finish school, study quickly, and just start working. And apparently, God had other plans. It was a constant discernment, and it was a I want to do this. And there was always this priesthood thing, this church thing, which kept kicking in, and it was a bit of a running away from it. So I always wanted to be a politician. That was my big dream, and I was well on the way. And church was, where I come from, people are still very they are members of the church, and they would baptize their children often, and you would go to confirmation, be confirmed as a teenager. But that doesn't mean that you care about church. It's just a thing you do. And that was for me the same. It was the same for me. It was, I got confirmed and I didn't care at all. And I thought, I could think of 1,000 things you could do on a Sunday instead of going to church. And it was later, it was actually in London, St. Paul's Cathedral, where I wanted to save the ticket to visit St. Paul's Cathedral. And I found that if you go to Evensong, it's for free. And that was the first time I went to church voluntarily. And something happened there, which over the years developed. And so it was much later, when I was 16 or 17, that I slowly came to faith, and it developed from there and became more and more. And at one point I couldn't run from this church thing anymore, and made a big step, and since then came around the world.
Yeah, you have come around the world. Tell us a little bit about your family, where you started out in the world, and then I'm going to ask you why you ended up here in our diocese.
Sure. It's my family comes. So I'm German, and you might hear that. And I grew up in the Black Forest in the southwest of Germany, so it's just on the border, and I mean it literally on the border to Switzerland and France. You could cycle to both. And we crossed borders every day. It was part of our life, and friends would be in all three countries. I'm an only child, so there's mom and dad, and my dad was an only child, and my mom has one sister, so our family is tiny. Yeah.
And what brought you here to the Diocese of New Westminster? And we should remember to speak up a little, because we are outside. And there's all sorts of Lynn Valley life going around. There are people walking dogs and biking and playing in the park and mowing lawns. So apologies if some of the sound is muffled.
Well, one of the people making noise might be you. What brought me here? Yeah, so I grew up in the German Protestant church, and I went to study in Durham for a while in the UK, and worshipped at Durham Cathedral. And something happened there, and it played a very vital role in my discernment process. And from that moment on, there was this question: is it really the German Protestant church where I feel at home, or is it the Anglican church? So I went from there and worshipped in the morning. Back in Germany and Switzerland, I worshipped in my church in the morning, and in the evening I went to the Anglican church and started discerning with them, which led me finally to Jerusalem, where I studied for a year and lived in a Benedictine monastery, and did a placement at St. George's Cathedral, the Anglican cathedral. And from there it led me to Cambridge, to seminary, where I wanted to get ready for the Church of England, which didn't work out, which was a rather painful experience, which brought me back to Germany and Switzerland. I went back to that church, did my curacy there, and then suddenly there was an email from this diocese, someone who had heard about our story and was very sorry what the church did and how painful until today the church, or how much pain the church can until today cause, and we started discerning with this diocese.
Well, we are very grateful that you did and that you are bringing your whole self here.
Thank you.
So, thank you. André, you come with all sorts of hopes and dreams for your own ministry, for our life here at St. Clement's. What are just a few of the things that you would love to explore here in Lynn Valley with us?
The first thing really is I can't wait to get to know people here, meet them, hear their stories, hear their dreams for St. Clement's and what they love about the place. And I'm really glad that we will start with that, with the small group gatherings. And I mean, coming Sunday, I will meet part of you in person, and I hope all the rest online. So that's my main priority, especially in this COVID time. It's a bit more tricky than usually. And apart from that, slowly get to know the youth and then start developing ideas how this ministry can grow, how we can grow together, and how we can then minister back to this for this wider community in the church and in Lynn Valley. I'm excited for Christmas, a bit scared, but excited to see how this next big feast, what it will look like.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious. I'm so happy that there were already ideas what we do with the induction, how we could do music differently than what I thought. Lindley had wonderful ideas, and someone from the congregation brought ideas. I'm really excited to see, what creativity, what we will come up.
Yeah, it's interesting times for sure. Yeah, and very creative times. So, all right, here we go. Rapid fire. What are 3 of your favorite foods?
Pizza, pasta, and fish and chips.
Sounds good. How about a favorite drink at the end of the long day?
Oh, that's more tricky. So we at home, we serve the 3 W's. If someone comes to our home, it's water, wine, or whiskey. So Scottish whiskey is one of mine. It's nothing I drink every day after work.
We hasten to say.
But on special occasions,
yeah.
a dram of whiskey.
Great. How about some good books you've read lately? Besides the good book, of course. Do you have any other recommendations?
I don't know what you mean. Well, recently it might sound a bit boring, but they have been mostly theology books. And when I think of good books, I think back to my teenage years, and it's of course Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter. They are still in the priority. Yeah, and I think I would still name them, even though it has been a while. But
Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter. Well,
yeah.
you have a lot of company in that club for sure. And you are fairly new to the country, relatively, and we're delighted that you are looking for a place near to St. Clement's to live, so you'll be new to the North Shore as well. But you've been doing some traveling around because some of your longer flights have been cancelled, of course, with the pandemic, so you've done some local travel. What are some highlights? So just getting to know the province and the North Shore and Greater Vancouver. What's stood out for you as a bright light?
Yeah, the North Shore, of course, Lynn Valley. Hiking is a great thing, so we enjoyed that. Day trips, Mount Seymour, Mount Cypress, and then one day we went up, stayed one night in Whistler, and from there drove north to Hamilton and Lillooet, and that was just stunning. That was beautiful. Where I come from, we have the mountains, and my most like utopia dream was always to have mountains and the sea, because I love both, and it's beautiful to have both combined.
Yeah, it's great. And there is all sorts of work to be done and things to be explored during this time of pandemic, and we bring our best self to that with the help of such a great congregation we have here at St. Clement's, and we've been doing great work together. But I know we are also longing for post-pandemic times when we can get back to some of our habits, maybe not all of them, because we're learning to do things in a new way. But what's something you're really looking forward to doing once this pandemic is over?
Well, in church, for sure, it's singing all together and worshiping God with with many voices. And privately, it would be to travel and visit family. Our family visit was cancelled. We wanted to go to Germany, and after that to go to the Holy Land. So I would really love to do that trip.
André, thank you so much. Thank you for picking us as a place you want to be.
Thank you for having me.
It's a start of a great journey, and I know you're looking forward to it, and we certainly are as well. So.
Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for being such a resilient community also who manages in such difficult times. Thank you.